Welcome to Team Fortress TV. It's ETF2L Season 29, Week 7. It is going to be the final official of the regular season for both of these teams. We got the Swamp facing off against Ora Elektro. I am your host here, HiipFire. I have my co-caster here, DuMmTm.
Hello.
We also have Beater, the one and only caster of season 2 for 2 seasons, here on the production boards. And well, yeah, we got Ora Elektro versus Swamp. So this is a bit interesting. Swamp, due to the weird situation we have with like Nunya being probably getting 4th seed, but them only having like 4 players on the roster, and those 4 players not all potentially being able to play the playoffs. It's a bit interesting how playoffs is going to work out, but Swamp might be able to get playoffs out of this if they get, I think, 5 points or no 6 points.
Yeah,
out
they
of
need to
official
win this game completely. They need all the points. Whereas Ora Elektro needs at least 5 to not be on the second last place of Prem and get onto the relegation spot. And map has already started.
Yeah, it's a very quick starter here. We are into the first mid already, and Crayon is going to go sniper to mid straight into this mid. Well, right now Ora Elektro is just all sitting in choke. Azunis is the only one who kind of showing any presence here. He's bombing it very aggressively onto Crayon, and Crayon just goes down. Callum finds Daegu as well, so this mid is already completely over for the Swamp. Smear goes down. Gink does find 1 frag and choke, but he gets piped by Fia. Actually, double piped there. It's Yilin and Pred still trying to get in. They do have the high ground. Yilin going down, but Pred getting a lot of damage, but eventually falls, and that's going to be the first mid going to Ora Elektro.
Ooh, yeah, Swamp needed to protect their medic better. They already played passive sniper mid on Process, which is certainly a viable thing, but you need good protection on your side to be able to do that, and the soldiers were able to get such a nice play in. One going behind, distracting, the other just to kill him straight on target, getting the medic immediately, and from then on it just immediately crumbled on their part. So really good mid from Ora Elektro. Took them a little to figure that out, but they did execute that really well.
They got the ad right now. They're moving on through PC right now. They see a combo from the Swamp in rollout, but not really close enough to pounce on them right now. All of the players on Swamp are on the right side of mid right now as the Uber from Ora Elektro is coming in. Smear gets caught in this. The gun is up. It's not really getting spammed right now as Ora Elektro kind of gets in, but they can't really find any frags after the initial Smear frag. They're getting spammed down right now. Naval gets taken out. It's just Fia, Kelvin, and Azunis. Azunis jumps in, gets the force out of Daegu, and the rest of Ora Elektro is now retreating. So, about 30% advantage now for Ora Elektro after that little force. So they're going to be re-establishing their positioning here on to second. Some players from Swamp were a bit in, but they're getting spammed out now by the jumping soldiers from Ora Elektro. They're just taking lobby, trying to find a place to go in. They're actually just going to walk in through lobby, right? They don't even have the Uber up just yet, but they're just taking the space that the Swamp is giving them. It loses Zunis, but a scout is trying to play the point. Callum finds the 1v1 against Pred, wins that. Oh, a great rocket onto Yilin. He takes him out as well. The Uber is now up for Ora Elektro. It's going to be 4v4 with the Uber ad pop onto Fia and Jinx. And the player, just Neva, just on the point, caps it up. The rest from Swamp not in range to contest that. It's going to be the first round going to Ora Elektro.
I have slightly bad news for HiipFire. My game just crashed, so you gotta give me a second. But I saw like the last second of that push.
Alright, well, you know, they won. They got the round. I think that's all the analysis people need. So we're going into the second mid here. First mid was with Crayon on Sniper. Second mid is going to be with Crayon on Sniper again, and then with Yilin on Scout. I want to see that Yilin Scout pop, actually. I want to see what he's doing on top right. Crayon actually finds the headshot onto Neva, so that's a good start. The soldiers from Ora Elektro not able to get in onto Crayon this time. They bomb in and are extremely ineffective, and the rest from Ora Elektro is getting collapsed upon by Pred. Finds Kelvin and Fia. Jinx is in sewers. He's kind of caught. He wins the fight against Pred, but then gets cleaned up by Gink. So, Med's getting capped up, second's getting capped up. The Med did go down for Ora Elektro, so Swamp has the big advantage. Smear actually going down in rollout. It's not ideal, but Crayon actually already in one, trying to find some pot shots onto Ora Elektro players, but Swamp has full ad. They're being very patient. just waiting here. I guess they just really, they don't want to push without Smear, their Merc for this game. The demo for Shaq subbing in for Domo. So, it's a decent little trade, I guess. But they're moving into lobby right now, trying to see where they want to go. Seems like they're going to go lobby right now. Smear gets spammed on really hard and actually gets dropped in this Uber. The rest of Swamp's trying to go into left side, but they're just getting launched by this sentry. And this Uber is over before it started. They have backed out already. So Ora Elektro is moving up into second now with the Uber. Crown is the only one really that's in position to actually go for a little force. Ora Elektro actually just pops through choke with the Uber. They find Gillen. They try to find Pred as well, but they only find one frag and a second cap off of this Uber. Swamp is trying to contest this a little bit, but they're all on the low ground. A headshot from Crayon does find the demo of Ora Elektro, and Pred jumping in on the right side gets some players quite weak. Naval actually getting cleaned up there by Gink. Swamp actually is in control of mid. There's only 3 players from Ora Elektro alive. So Swamp moving in on to second right now with that 40% ad, just capping that up.
Alright, looks like my game is working again, so that's a good thing.
Nice.
And yeah, Swamp with a nice little advantage, but they already have the sniper up, so it's either Crayon getting a big pick or this Uber just being tremendous. And they look like they want to go for the second, but they use in really early, see what they can get, but they don't find too much. Smurr jumps deep, only finds a sentry, denies them further plays. He gets taken over by a scout there, and everybody hard pressed to leave as quickly as they can. When they took a lot of damage on their part, but managed to get out alive for now. DuMmTm gets a nice pipe onto Yillen, but that's all that's really going Ora Elektro's way so far.
These pushes don't seem to be too great. They're kind of just getting caught by this gun every time, and they need to spam it down a bit more, but quite failing to. And they're going to be punished by it.
Wants to go quick. They have the advantage and they want to use it immediately.
Moving on through PC, they find Smear really early into this Uber. The rest of Swamp has left, but Ora Elektro tries to jump through choke. They're getting kind of spammed down. Swamp has a good hold on this choke, but Ora Elektro at least successfully gets mid.
Yeah, they wanted to do this quick, they did it, but the Uber didn't get much. They secured mid with the Uber, but now we're in a situation where Swamp can just recontest it really quickly and potentially do much more with this Uber if they're able to. They still have a sniper, which isn't too bad, but still, he needs to hit some shots too. So Crayon has shown some great plays so far, but not this game specifically. There goes a jumper trying to get people early. Not quite happening. And Swamp just walks in really confidently without really having to use the sniper, doing quite a good job there of just denying space super easily.
Yeah, Swamp just trying to make their way into second now. Crayon just slow peeking through choke, seeing if he can find a med pick. He sees Kelvin just standing still, finds the headshot easily. Callum jumping in through choke, trying to get the force onto Daegu, but failing to. Smear does go down, but it's 3 picks for Ora Elektro with only 1 pick for Swamp, or we'll actually swap that around. But yeah, Swamp in control of second. They're going to be moving into last soon. They're going to be just checking out lobby perhaps. They're actually waiting on the Smear spawn once again. They want to make sure they have those 6 players up. Crayon is in 1, trying to play with that space, but he doesn't find any real picks from it. As Swamp now in lobby, Smear is going to peek left or right side. They pop that Uber off. They need to get on this gun this time. There is a pyro next to it, but the pyro doesn't do enough. The gun does go down. Gig does go down to Stickies from the B. Oh, this is not going too great. The Stickies have just destroyed most of Swamp. Crayon with a great headshot onto Kelvin, but Daegu now is kind of caught in lobby as a pause comes in.
Well, that's a great spot for a pause. On the Swamp's perspective. Daegu completely left alone, and given that there's a little bit of time, if he's really lucky, there's a backup potential. But Ora Elektro would have to completely lose track of everything to miss him in this lobby spot.
I'm very curious if they actually have eyes on him, because he is like standing by the wall, like by the lobby, and I don't know if they really have seen that he's there, because the last guy they killed was Crayon, who was just kind of I think, aggressing, or like was just standing in lobby, so just kind of getting that lucky Kelvin headshot. So I don't know if they actually know that Daegu's still here. The Elmpause actually comes in now. He gets past Azunis. Oh, but Callum, he checks left lobby. And Daegu goes down. He's a bit upset in chat, it seems, but that's going to be Meds being traded out. Kelvin's going to have a little bit of a better spawn, but won't really have too much effect on the Uber situation as the game seems to stabilize a little bit.
Yeah, both medics went down in this. As you mentioned, Kelvin spawning a little bit earlier, but given that it's about like 5%, that won't have too much of an impact. Swarm's still relying on Crayon Sniper, and he's been doing decently well this game. He has shown the rest of the season that he's really, really good on the sniper class. So after the first headshot, he immediately got the medic. So he continues on this game, and I would certainly agree that if you know how to play around the sniper, then that's a perfectly valid choice. We saw Yillen's scout as well on, I think, in the product weeks or the last few weeks. And there we go!
What a headshot! He just finds it. Lobby left. Now it's going to be the ad for Swamp. Yillen actually wants to just go in, finds Jimbot weak on the ground as the rest of Swamp tries to go through choke. Daegu kind of baits his team, waiting for that bomb from Azunis. He will go down, gets cleaned up by the scouts and by the sniper. And there is the timeout for the Ora Elektro medic. That's where the pause came in from before. But the Swamp was already on last. They've just gone in mid-pause they were in. And that's just going to be the round for Swamp, just playing off the number end.
Yeah, Kelvin disconnecting really didn't change much about that. I don't think a lonely medic there on last would have helped save that for Ora Elektro. But now they're back up with everybody. The game is tight, and they have to see if they can continue dealing with the sniper bit.
Well, as you can see, Crayon is quite slow to this mid. Azun is very aggressive in sewers, finds Pred and Smira, gets them both weak, but doesn't find a frag. It's both teams just committing on the right side of this mid right now as Daegu goes down. No heals for the Swamp, but the Swamp trying to collapse now. Yillen and Pred are actually doing a two-man collapse, finding like 3 frags on their own. Ging finds one in choke as well. And even though Ora Elektro finds that mid pick, it's going to be the mid for Swamp.
Yeah, really nice aggression there at the end. They really needed that. They play right side aggressively, and either you get in properly or you just get stuck in a corner. Is the story of right side mids a lot of times. They still play with the sniper despite that, which was really interesting, and it again forced nice split in attention, which really helps if you have a sniper on your side of the field, and it just gives kind of so much more freedom as we approach. Another little potential stalemate here. Both medics did go down, so pretty much exactly even Uber, and Kayan again looking for some picks. Yellen gets juggled out of the shutter door there in sewer, so he goes down, but if that matters too much, it's to be seen. It's a scout, it's a good pick if you want to get a force or a sack in any shape or form. But for that, they first need to get past Pred, and he says no to Azun is trying to go for a play immediately.
I have to say, I admire teams like this that play like the perma sniper and then have a roamer who's comfortable with playing on scout. And then like Crayon is playing like very aggressive angles. It's not like some sniper plays where people play like really passively. Like Crayon is constantly trying to find openings. He's going for the sewer peak again. Just going to be going for the main shutter, it seems. He's just looking at the shutter for now. He's waiting for the time to strike. As Scott opens the shutter, there's Callum. He goes down. It's one headshot for Crayon. He's going to go for the left side now. Sees a soldier jumping in. He gets a denial body shot, but doesn't find the frag. He sees the heal beam in top. We see Kelvin actually peeks it. The balls of steel to just walk straight through that sniper sight line and does not get headshot. So Ora Elektro does successfully get their Uber out onto last, but they lose their demo. And Yillen's actually already in lobby, so Swamp is very keen on pushing off of this right now as they're in lobby. They are moving on through. A scout is in on the right side. That is a Gink. He finds a frag onto Nevo. Ora Elektro not in the greatest spot. They're sitting in front of lobby. They want to trade, and Jinx goes very aggressively, finds Smira. Yillen and Kren also going down. Daegu not in position to actually Uber onto these players. And most of Swamp just gets baited. They all die. It's just Daegu and Gink now on mid.
That was the best thing that could happen to Ora Elektro in this situation, that the EU was just that successful, but most importantly, Dago got out completely safe. Sure, he couldn't save anyone, so second goes to Ora Elektro, but they have this Uber to contest with, and they still have the Crayon Sniper, and they've shown they know how to play around it, and just the threat of the Uber and the Sniper together forces Ora Elektro out really early. Lots of damage coming out. Crayon picks up Kelvin, they get one in return, doesn't matter, Swamp's already on second, firmly positioned on the point, and on the move out to last already.
Looking around where they want to go. Lobby right once again. This time there's no sentry gun, so they're not going to get forced that quickly. A scout's playing the point, forces that soldier onto the point. He gets body shot by Crayon. Jinx follows suit afterwards. Fia also going down. It's Kelvin on the point. The Uber being popped. Smear finds the pain train frag onto him. It's 2 players left for Swamp, and there's Daegu and Crayon. 1 headshot and 1 Uber saw frag, and that's going to be the second round for the Swamp.
Yeah, the last 3 kills on that last push were 2 melee kills from 2 different classes and a headshot. You don't see that every day, but they could certainly afford to play it that way. They had such a good opening with the Uber advantage. Just go straight in, play point, force them on it, got 3 picks immediately, and the last 3 were just kinda gotten anyway.
Here's the 4th mid. Swamp taking the lead now. 15 minutes left. See if Ora Elektro can get back into the lead. There's a headshot from Crayon. Finds the first frag. There's Azunis trying to get onto the sniper there, but he goes down as well. And just all these frags going around right now. The Ora Elektro aggression does give them a frag onto Daegu, but Crayon with the 4K. It's going to be the Swamp pulling out the win.
Yeah, what I criticized on the first one, that the scouts didn't nearly deny the soldiers enough. Looks like Crayon just did it himself this time around. Azunis was trying to jump in after the first headshot that he got and just body shots him out of the air. And then 2 more on top of that, so yeah, Crayon just playing incredibly well, and Swamp in general playing really good around the sniper. Oftentimes you just see people play sniper because, oh well, the game has gotten slow, let's just pull out the sniper and see if we can get a medic pick. But they have a lot more thought to that.
Ora Elektro really wanted to get aggressive onto that sniper, get Crayon out of that mid early, but the aggression got punished so hard. And right now, Ora Elektro going aggressive once again. They're doing a decent job. It's 4 players from Swamp on the low ground right now. Pred getting forced out. Daegu is disconnected from the rest of the players from the Swamp. They're all in choke while Daegu is getting chased down by Jinx right now. Jinx not really hitting his shots though. Gink gets the frag on Jinx, but there's Azunis finding the medic. And the rest of Swamp is on second. Kelvin's a bit scared of Crayon with the long sideline onto choke.
Do they know? Yes, Nevo sees it just in time. I was scared there for a second. They were all so far forward. That could have easily been a clutch play for Pred, but never had eyes on that early enough. So crisis averted. Uber still intact. They just need to get past the Crayon sniper on the entry to second now.
Well, I need to watch out for this because the Swamp is holding very passive. I think they just want to let Crayon force, basically just fear force Kelvin into popping and then just walk into last. But right now, Ora Elektro is going to go into PC here, so Crayon doesn't really have an angle on that. He's watching choke. They're coming on through. Jinx sees the Crayon sniper in rollout. He walks out. Smira in 1, also getting forced out. So Ora Elektro safely getting into second. Oh, but the body shot from Crayon. The meta is dead. Ora Elektro's dreams of going into last have been squashed. It's now Swamp with the advantage. They do have Yulin still in that NG class, but the rest of Swamp trying to see if they can get through Pred in a 2v1 in lobby. Finds the soldier frag. Ooh, there goes Jinx. There goes Callum. There's some good frags from Swamp. Gink finds a 1v1 against Nevo in rollout. Wins that too. It's just Jimbot and a spawning medic. And Jimbot goes down in choke. That's essentially a wipe as the Swamp is capping up second.
Yeah, you could criticize Jimbot for overextending there and should have instead gotten back to his medic, but he knew that there was huge damage on Daegu. Daegu was on 30 HP after the soldier jump in by Kelvin, and he really wanted that pick, but just shouldn't be.
Ooh, another headshot from Crayon, this time onto Nevo and Sniper. So the Sniper 1v1s are also going
Jinx, I just saw.
Oh, Crayon's trying to find the angle onto him. Yellen also contesting it as well, but Jinx does get it. Oh, Crayon with the headshot, though. If I another headshot as well onto Azunis, just headshots ringing all over the place for Crayon, just getting free reign here in choke. Now with the Uber ad, Swamp's going to be moving through choke right now. Everybody walking on through Azunis and Callum are trying to spam, force Daegu somehow. Pred jumping onto the high ground gets denied, but never goes. Oh, Azun is in. One rocket. Doesn't get the second. That's going to be no force for the for Ora Elektro as the Swamp's capping up mid, but the Uber is almost up for Ora Elektro. That's another pause.
That's not too bad, at least, because we had so much fast game, so a little bit tough time to just calm down and realize what just happened, including all these great shots by Crayon so far. He's been popping off.
Crayon has just been doing such a great job. He's opening up all these points for Crayon, or for Crayon. Yeah, he's the only player on the team, so his team is Crayon. It's Swamp. He's just, yeah, it's just all the openings are being found by him, and Ora Elektro is not really doing a good job of shutting him down. I mean, they eventually sack like a roamer onto and find that frag, but it's way too late at that point, as they just like they lose their medic or they lose like Gymbot to it, and then it's way too late. The advantage has already been given up, and the roamer sniper trade isn't really ideal at that point. So I don't know. Ora Elektro just needs to just properly play around the sniper.
Yeah, I said it before a little bit, and I said it again, that Swamp plays around this perma sniper really, really well. We had historically always few teams that were good at just perma sniping, regardless of the situation, and it looks like they want to be one of them. They've been doing a great job of just allowing Crayon to have a lot of freedom. He has not necessarily gotten like those super flashy kind of shots 100% of the time, as some other snipers do, but he's been like getting these consistent shots that you just need to hit every time. And that just includes so many times the picks they just needed, including Kelvin.
Yeah, he's definitely not like a at least he hasn't really been playing like a Stark sniper or like what is it, tech sniper, like ones that just literally hit every headshot, or like jukebox. Like they are like properly playing around Crayon, that he doesn't have to just go for like one and done angles and just has to like basically suicide to find picks. Like he's getting a lot of support from his team. Like these sewer plays, like they're moving into sewers right now actually with Crayon during this pause. So like they're doing a really good job of giving him the space there, and Ora Elektro is half just kind of giving it to him as well, because most of the time it's just like a scout that comes with him or something, and Scout's enough to just force the Solly away, and then he just gets free peeks. I mean, yeah, he's just like, he just peeks far left on sewers and just gets like 1 or 2 headshots, and then
you can
it's
see
just over.
how scared Ora Elektro is of the Crayon sniper at this point. When they're pushing second with the U advantage, they just desperately try to not get shot at all, coming to second, avoiding it as much as they could, coming from PC. And then the moment they gave Crayon an opportunity to shoot anything in lobby, he just immediately takes it anyway, despite all the efforts they put in.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I wanted to kind of get at, is that like, while like Crayon isn't like, at least he hasn't been playing like somebody who's literally going to get a headshot on like a jumping soldier that's like sacking for him or anything. So like they're giving him a lot of respect, which when he's like starting to, he hits, as you said, he hits the shots that he needs to hit, like the free, people are standing still. If he hits those headshots consistently, then you need to somehow pressure him more. And outside of the aggression they've shown on mids, they haven't really been doing anything like that. So
they certainly have tried the hardest to shut
they've
tried.
tried.
But it's been 50-50 so far in that regard, and 50-50 against a team that is so well adjusted to playing with a perma sniper is just not good enough. Also, I don't think we've mentioned it before, because we started really late with this game, but Smurr is in fact working today for the Swarm. Most people probably realize by now, but it's always good pointing out that the main Domo is not here Domo, so Smurr here to play for them. I would argue a little bit of an upgrade. Domo is still really, really, really good, so it's not like it's an unfair advantage, but Smurr certainly won't be a downgrade by any means either.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, it's a bit even. Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter. We are going to be going back into the game. Crayon is trying to go for the far left peak right now, but Callum is actually denying him a little bit, and Smear actually goes onto a sticky trap from Fia there. So that's going to be a demo down. Gillen going down as well to Jinx. Some aggression and choke there, catching him out. Swamp as to completely abandon this midpoint right now. Pred even getting caught. Crayon's gonna get caught. It's just gonna be Gink, spawning Smear, and Daegu here on second, and it's
yeah, we talked so much about Swamp, but the thing that I would say, oh, Electro did well so far is playing off momentum. We've seen it before, and we see it here again, that once they get something, they know how to convert of it, and they're still going. They don't want to stop, they get the Uber out of them immediately, have to use themselves, but quite a bit later, which more or less just ensures that they get it as soon as it goes down, but they pressure them out through one. Won't get any more than that, but at this point they secured second just based off position alone. Unless Swarm does something here.
They're going through one. No real pressure from Ora Elektro for a while there in that one door, but eventually they spam all those players down from the swamp. They have to be forced back into their last point. There's a little bit of a roamer frag there onto Nevo from Pred, but it's not going to have too much of an effect. Crayon's got to go for the peek in one here. He sees Kelvin, but he doesn't actually connect the headshot onto him that time. So there's a lot of space, and just the swamp, they get all this space. Everyone from Ora Elektro just walks backwards. They go onto low ground and they give this second point completely up.
Yeah, that was interesting. You said it before in the pause that they respect the sniper so much, and Swamp just realized, wait, they're not here near the shutter door, so let's just walk in for free. And so they did, got a pick and kept it going until they finally get the point. As soon as Wood got an opportunity, he gets the sniper to picture, but too late to save his demo man.
But Gillen goes down in sewers as well, so that's 2 frags for Ora Elektro. That's probably enough to equalize the demo disadvantage that they have. Azuna's jumping on in. It's a bit denied by the scattergun from Yang, but the rest of Ora Elektro is in. They're going to go for this trade. A lot of flashing going around for Ora Elektro. Callum unable to back off. Nevo can't really back off either. Kind of caught in a fight against Pred there. Gonna be in lobby, gonna be in a 1v1 against Yilin. He gets body shot by Crayon instead. So that's okay, I guess, as Swamp is moving in onto mid here. Yaking leading the push on through. Yilin joining him in choke, as Azuna is the only one really forward for Ora Elektro. A headshot from Crayon onto Jinx. Of course, another headshot for him, and Swamp is securing the midpoint now.
Yeah, just clean, simple push. Nothing too fancy. They had the picks, they just needed to get more damage, and there's the Neville sniper. And Jimbot with the trap as well. That's 2 picks in a row very quickly. Uber's not up for any team, so that makes it a little bit better to get in, but once you're in, you need to be sure to not get destroyed by you. But here comes the soldier aggression from Ora Elektro themselves, with Jimbot also jumping really aggressive, maybe getting the damage pick. Yes, he does.
It's caught. Pred is trying to sack onto Kelvin, but he gets no-scoped and then gets rocketed down. He's going to be dead, and no heals for Swamp as Ora Elektro is moving on through into second here. Soldier jumping in very aggressively to force Smira away from that second point. He gets it blind dead onto Jinx. So that is 1 dead scout, but Ora Elektro still gets the second point. They have the Uber ad. Abel's still on sniper. He finds the body shot with together with a rocket from Azunas, finds Smira there. And now they're moving on through it in 1. They got forced by a bomb. Oh, this is really not great. Yeah, there's only a soldier really that can try moving through 1, and they just can't make it far enough to really do anything with it. They do have a player advantage, and Nevo is going to peek rollout here. He tries to see if he can get a medic pick or anything, but there's nothing he can really do. He's forced to back off from that angle, and Ora Elektro now is in the passive hold mode as Swamp is building up their Uber.
Yeah, I guess if you can't beat them, join them, so Nevo just went sniper himself. And for the moment it works, but so far Swamp hadn't had to adapt to playing to a sniper themselves, whereas Ora Elektro had to play against one the entire game so far. So certainly they will try to adapt for that now, and they want to go in off the advantage they have.
Yeah, they're popping on in through lower lobby right now. Scout and Demo just going straight through lower lobby. They find 1 frag, and that's gonna be it. Nevo and Azuna is fine too. Nevo's just in rollout trying to find a headshot onto Daegu. Doesn't really work out. Gig just finds 2 though. He finds Azuna and Nevo in 1. That's 2 response frags for Swamp here. They can try and get onto second. They really want to get that Kelvin force. Ora Elektro is actually just going to be respecting this. They're going to just be walking out. Even though Swamp does not have that Uber, they're out of there. They're going to be going in now, re-aggressing through. They pop in onto their scout and demo. But Swamp, just everyone's leaving in different exits. They all get out safely. They're getting race-ups now, and that Uber not looking too good as Ora Elektro still wants to go. They're going to go through lobby right here. A pipe hits the medic of Ora Elektro. They find Yilin, but now everyone else is so weak, getting spammed down in lobby. They're just all backing off now into second. Swamp with the Uber up right now. Gonna be moving on through. There is a wild Zunis in lobby who gets piped down, trying to get onto Daegu. No force for him. Swamp's gonna be trying to take second now. Crayon just finds another headshot. He finds the demo in PC, unsure exactly what Theo was trying to do, but that's gonna be another frag for him. Swamp even moving into mid right now. Smear and Daegu alone really going through PC here. Actually, there's a scout accompanying them as well. Ora Elektro not really in position to do anything in the form of forces as Callie gets completely denied. Navo does find a headshot, but it's not the medic. A headshot for Crayon, and Swamp caps up mid.
It looks like the timer is getting to Elektro. They've played so hectic for the last 2 or 3 minutes, and it just really shows on Swamp playing much calmer, just getting the stuff they want. Getting forced here early though.
Force here, and the Uber is much better for Ora Elektro. They find a frag onto Smear. The rest of the combo they can't really chase down, but that's a demo frag. That's a good start. They're going to be just busting through this choke right now. They find Crayon. They find Yilin on the point. 2 players getting caught. There's Pred as well. Daegu's out sewers, but Zunis with the big surf on the choke ramp there. Flying straight through, trying to get onto Daegu. Gets taken up by Gink eventually. Oh, that's such a big chase. Nevo finds Gink. He's on to Daegu. Daegu's so close to the spawn door. Nevo, ooh, the resub bind from Daegu saves him there. As Nevo unsuccessfully tries to chase Daegu. And now Ora Elektro on the second point, building up their Uber.
Yeah, Ora Elektro is so strong coming into mid the moment they have any opportunity given to them. Just flooding and getting things the way they want on mid. And now it's just a matter of keeping that pressure up into last, where they've struggled quite a bit more. But they have a little advantage, not much, barely enough to make big moves with, but maybe they'll try anyway.
Moves left side of lobby. A demo, a soldier jumping straight through. The sentry gun is up for Yilin. Both soldiers are spamming that down, though. Sentry is now down. Uber has faded, but Ora Elektro has established a lot of positioning here, but Swamp now pops their Uber. Nobody from Ora Elektro really directly in contact with this Uber. The only one is Zunis. Jimon has trapped himself into a control room there. Does not find a sticky trap frag. Instead, he loses his life. And the rest of Ora Elektro is just sitting on second on that high ground, trying to deny these Swamp players. Callum jumping in very aggressively. Finds a frag on the Spirit. Disrespect skill stick there. Jinx finds Yilin as well, so that's a scout frag for Ora Elektro. It's 3v4 in 1 though, and Jinx and Navo just taking so much damage. The Zunis bomb just eventually get into 1, does deny the combo from Swap to get into second, but Ora Elektro unsuccessfully pushing into last.
Yeah, they certainly have the timer against them, if not, oh, before already has another snipe.
Oh, that's so crucial. Down. Oh, they lose their medic. The rest of Ora Elektro is just on the point, actually. I thought they were going to sack for the medic. They got so much time. Fia tries to get a pipe onto Daegu. Daegu eventually gets forced.
On the spawning good soldier as well for that. That was such a smart move. They knew there were a lot of people, so splash damage was probably the better choice. And that was a quick jump in. I think it was a direct as well on whoever that was.
Crayon soldier debut.
That is interesting. Jinx wants to sneak on the point, but that's the keys.
Oh, but they're not. Look at this. It's still scary, man. There's so much time on the point for Ora Elektro, but Swamp, I think with this setup, Yelin's gonna go into NG. Crayon's still going for that perma sniper. I think Swamp is just looking to stalemate this on.
Yeah, with 2 minutes left, you shouldn't look to push out of this anytime soon. Just hold for the next 2 minutes as long as you can. They have Crayon Spy. Is he in spawn still, or has he moved already? No, he's in spawn. He's checking for, I would assume, crits or sniper, because with this little time it's not unlikely to happen. But he sees none of that, so he just goes back to sniper.
There's no sniper or Elektro with no gimmicks, moving in through left side here, far left, taking the space. A headshot from Crown finds Jinx, but they Ora Elektro does take out that gun, but Navo finds Daegu. He drops his Uber. The Uber now being popped. A lot of people getting dropped this Uber. Callum's the only one to get much of this Uber as the rest of Ora Elektro is down. Callum tries to do what he can with the rest of that Uber, but Swamp successfully hold last.
Yeah, that was just a disaster on both parts. Ora Elektro gets in for free until they realize it's a sniper and they already lost one to it. They get the drop then subsequently onto Daegu, which makes it much better in return. But then nobody can be saved by the Uber because everybody was just too far away. And there comes the time pressure, they don't have time to wait.
Yeah, minute left, they spam down that gun. Jinx does go down to the sentry gun, but Callum, very aggressive on the left side, gets one of the players trying to back up into the spawn. That's Smira, but now the rest of Swamp is coming out of that right spawn door. The Heavy, the Soldier, the Scout, the Healing Man, they're all out on the point. They take out much of Ora Elektro. It's just Navo in lobby. He's gonna try to see if he can do anything, but he's gonna wait on his spawners. And with 30 seconds left, Ora Elektro is gonna do one more desperation push. But Swamp, they have Uber up. Ora Elektro, they're moving through now. They got the spawners moving through onto second here. They're gonna just be going. It seems to go into lobby. 12 seconds left. They need to force Daegu's Uber as fast as possible. Yeah, there it is. Oh, and Yillen on point with the Uber. He's just crapping over everyone's dream. Ora Elektro, everyone just going in onto the invulnerable Heavy on the point. And in the end, the Heavy prevails. It's going to be 2-1 for the Swamp.
And that already safe means that Ora Elektro can't get off the 7th spot in Prem anymore. Now it's a question if Swamp can move one up over Omni 5 potentially if they get like all the points next game as well.
It's a bit interesting about that 5th spot. If Swamp gets the 5th spot and then Nunya folds and doesn't play playoffs, then Swamp could be getting the playoff spot.
Oh yeah, we should probably explain that for people because like nothing official has been stated yet. Because they're not 100% sure, they're just fairly sure what's gonna happen on Nunya. But last thing I heard was that it looks really bad for them having a full line, or well, they played with 4 people only anyway, but having enough people to be able to play playoffs because of Puskari's health position where he doesn't feel like it's a good idea to continue playing with his current situation. So they would technically go into playoffs with 3 people then, and since that's not allowed by the rules, they would subsequently be replaced with the next best team, meaning the 5th spot, which is right now Omni 5, unless Swamp gets the next 3 points as well.
A little reminder in case you weren't following this entire season. Nunya in the middle of the season lost both their soldiers.
Well, I mean, lost is the nice way to put it.
Well, you know, look, I don't know the specifics, so I'm going to use a ambiguous term as I do not know what it is. So both soldiers were ejected from the roster at some point in the middle of the season. So they were playing with permanent soldier merc. And the rules is that you need to have 4 players from your original roster playing to play in playoffs to avoid weird hijinks such as the Arctic Foxes lineup that won season 27, where they technically only play with 3 of their main players in the finals and stuff like that. So they technically play like 3 subs and stuff like that. So that's what that rule is for. And yeah, Nunya now without their soldiers and potentially losing one of their scouts might not be playing. It's a bit vague at this point. We don't really know exactly what the status is of Puskari playing and all that stuff.
We just got word from Nuthouse in the Twitch chat. We were told by Menti that we would be allowed to play in playoffs if we just played 5v6. So I don't think that we would be going. So yeah, the situation is not so great. That's the bottom line, and there's a chance for 2 teams to make it.
Yeah, there's also there's no subs on the Nunya rosters. There's literally just the 4 main players. So they literally have no like extra subs to fall on like 7 has, how they switch rosters, but they have like 3-4 more players on their roster. So technically they can play like D-Ski was technically as a sub, so that counts. But for Nunya, it's literally 4 players on the roster. So there's not really anything they can do.
All or nothing for
basically
at this point. Our dreams of not getting second class and getting the safe stay in Prem spot is out of the picture after losing 3 points this match. So it's basically all or nothing for the Swamp, and they've had a really strong showing this game. So they have the potential to make it, but it was still a decent showing from Ora Elektro. Once they got a footing, they would just really struggle to get into that position where they can just convert.
It'll be
and
really,
that is important.
Yeah, definitely. It would be kind of cool if Nunya, just as a tidbit, it would be kind of cool if Nunya made playoffs, because they almost a relatively similar roster. Well, actually, that's not true. It's not actually that similar of a roster.
We should probably stop fantasizing about Nunya.
Yeah,
just
never
a quick
mind.
look
Never
at
mind.
we have done up on the screen.
This is stats.
There's not much to analyze here, as that's just to fanboy about stats, because we see Gink and Crayon 30 and 29 and 9. That is some incredible stat lines. And we spoke about it all game, that they really well played around the sniper and the scouts playing the protective part, as well as a decent bit of aggression as well. And they made such a good job of that. It was just the playstyle you would see of a perma-sniping product team, perfectly converted into a 5CP match.
Well, the thing about this log, I mean, I'm not to analyze specific stuff about this log, but if you see a log where there's a scout that went 30 and 9 and a sniper that went 29 and 9, and then you look at like main stats, seeing that it's that one of the teams got, let me do quick math, 34 more kills than the enemy team, you'd think that this would be a more decisive game than a 2-1 win. Like, I feel like this scoreline is not as convincing as the logs suggest.
Well, yeah, that's why you don't just look at the logs.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, if you have a scout that doesn't really die and finds 30 frags, and a sniper that doesn't really die and almost finds 30 frags, like, it would be a bit more one-sided. And I actually feel like there's a reason to this. That is a bit like in the early parts of the game, like the first 10-15 minutes, I feel like Smira died a lot. Like,
yes,
he died.
We mentioned he's the bug, and they have
died
such a
so
specific playstyle.
much at the start of the game. He kept getting caught in Ubers and stuff. Like, he was dead. So like in the first like 3 last pushes that the Swamp had, like it was every time I was like, oh yeah, and they have to wait for Smira because he died to like Ora Elektro's Uber or something. Like, they had to delay a lot for his deaths early on in the game. So it causes the great play of their scout and sniper to be kind of a bit less, you know? But whatever. They won the map. We're going into the second map here. It's Badlands, or Prolands rather. First bet went 2-1 in the favor of Swamp, and this is the second map. The Swamp gets 3 points. They have booked a spot for themselves into the playoffs of this season. Let's see what's happening on this first mid. Demos are both shooting off stickies. The soldiers from Swamp are so aggressive, they immediately delete Fia off the map. But then Smira dies straight after. Some more soldiers getting traded out as Daegu and Crayon kind of stuck on their own train, getting completely surrounded by the Ora Elektro players. Now everyone for Ora Elektro, after they're of the Swamp that lose their med, they all try to sack onto Kelvin. Unsuccessfully, it's the first mid for Ora Elektro.
Yeah, and we immediately see that Prolands isn't the favorite to play perma-snipe double scouting, so they went back to a more classic lineup, but so far Ora Elektro having the upper hand in the matchup. They are winning the first bit, so I'd be surprised if they switch it up at some point, or they stick to the vanilla lineup for this map entirely. Process definitely is better for perma-sniping, I would say, but Badlands still allows for it to some degree, but certainly more in slow situation than Process, I would say.
Yeah, there's not a lot more aggressive holding or spots, but the Uber coming in from Ora Elektro into top right, it's denied mostly by the sentry. Genk actually wants to go into heavy and try to recontest top right, but can't really do much. Oh, and Crayon and Smira from top left is destroying 3 Ora Elektro players. Even a reflect rocket from Crayon there finds its mark as Smira finds his 3rd kill of this mid hold. His 4th with the pain train. It's just Navo. He is sitting in lobby. He's going to try to go for maybe a bit of a backup in bottom left, but none of the Swamp players have left yet. They're all methodically leaving last to make sure there's no backup potential.
And Spurs spotted Navo, so they know he's there. They have 2 people standing above the heavy and the soldier.
Is he going to win? He finds Pred here. Or eventually, there's
one. He actually wins.
Oh, there's no scout! Where is Crayon?
Oh, no! That was Gink was moving back to spawn, just relying on the soldier being on a point, and never just walks over the soldier.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it. You're just, you know, it's like, oh, yeah, my soldier will be fine. I could just resub, get some health back, and then your soldier loses the 1v1. You can't get to last in time. The backup comes in. So that's going to be the first round for Ora Elektro. 2.5 minutes in, and Ora Elektro's back in the lead. We saw this last map. So let's see if they can keep a hold of this lead this time. Ooh, Soldier's jumping in very aggressive. Yeah, Jimbot's so weak already. And Kelvin also just kind of caught. That's... Yeah, this mid is not looking too great. Ora Elektro not looking great. Soldier's just jumping in, trying to get onto Daegu here. Finding some frags. Some Swamp players are overextending a little bit. It's Gink and Smear versus Jinx, Azunis, and Nevo trying to jump in aggressively, but Jinx alone gets eliminated by Gink, and now it's Nevo and Azunis. Nevo backs off. Azunis is in-house. The Swamp players are aware of this.
Yes.
Yeah, Azunis can't really jump in. He's going to go for a bit of a play, just, you know, see if you can find any of the spawners, but sees Crayon, misses, and he's dead.
Yeah, but that was just really good target selection on Swamp's part on it. Just everybody that took like 150 damage subsequently died shortly after. So first the Demoman and the medic, who dies with 150 damage anyways, but that's besides the point. So yeah, everything they wanted to die just died really quickly.
The control point is being captured.
Yep, well, Ora Elektro has already given up on Spire here. They're already on last. The scout is just building the Uber up. Nevo is on Spire. He finds Yilin for in some way. Finds that, but it's not going to affect Swamp too much, as they still have the advantage, but they actually have delayed the push from the Swamp enough that it's going to equalize. So now, even Uber's...
And now we see everybody's favorite position in TF2, holding Badlands against team that already has Uber, but you have all the time in the world to set up stuff on the defense.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the Swamp wants to do. There are some different avenues of attack here for this last point that you could do, such as what Crayon is doing, which is just push bottom right and see if you can find a frag. He finds one, but unfortunately, Nevo Sentry is in the sheepy spot and catches Crayon out. That is an attempt from the Swamp to find an opening, but not successful.
Yeah, problem with that, like, everybody makes fun of the Sentry spot, but sometimes it helps, and right now it is in a position where it can hardly be spammed down without having to commit into last properly. So Nevo had all the time in the world to just wait for the respawn and just prepare pretty quickly.
Crayon is on Sniper.
And Callum is on Spy.
Ooh, but he's just spy checking.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
You have been bamboozled.
Well, the one to make the spy plays would be Azunis anyway, so...
Well, nothing's happening on the side of Ora Elektro. Jinx is dead. Crayon peeks by the barrels. Kelvin's just sitting in a good angle. He's just standing still. He's not even moving. I love this this angle he's standing in. Oh, but he gets piped by Smear. I think he died to a roller, dropping in spawn. And now Swamp just pushes it to top left. Uber's in. They just take top left with ease. Find Callum. They spam down that sentry. Gink's just methodically clearing all these stickies. Goes down on the point eventually, but gets a lot of cap time. Smear going down as well. Oh, but Crayon with a headshot. Fred with a frag onto the demo.
He comes to me, push past Fred, and now just a soldier.
Oh, Yilin with the spam rockets though, doing so much damage. That's gonna be it. He zones them all out. 1-1. It's tied up.
Yeah, I thought they overstayed their welcome there a bit to just try to rush it a bit too much, but the banner just protects him from any incoming damage, plus really good rockets to just juggle the scouts off the point. And every time a team feels safe on last, there's just something coming in to say no to that.
Well, hey, you know, you said it was going to be boring, but that was an exciting last hold as we're going into the third mid here. It's 7 minutes in. We're already on the third mid. Not a slow Pro-Lands game at all. Really aggressive play from a lot of different players. Soldiers jumping in everywhere. Ora Elektro trying to push over the point after the soldier gets owned.
Huge bomb.
Ooh,
but they neglect the medic at the same time. So both medics go down. Fred with the counter jump. No, it's just never left alive after that. Scout versus soldier. And hard to win that one.
Yilin, he's going to try and 1v1 Nevo here. Has he played his Badlands middle MGs? He gets one direct. Nevo with the pistol. He's going to play the boring way. Just long range. Get that snipe. There it is. Yilin goes down. Nevo wins that 1v1. Caps up the midpoint. Spawners coming in for both teams, but It seems like Ora Elektro is going to be sitting on mid, and Crayon, or the Swamp, is going to be on Sniper.
I want to see what Yilin spawns as. That is probably the big question here right now. And it will be still Soldier. Interesting. Ooh, nice aggression down the flank. Never wants to pick. He gets it on his own as soon as comes into help anyway. Doesn't need to in the end. But everybody else rotates over to Valley anyway.
Crayon has the angle into Reese up here, and Kelvin peeks it. Ooh, doesn't find the headshot though, and the rest of the Swamp is kind of crumbling by the bridge here.
Stuck.
Yep,
he
is
nice headshot. Kelvin saves himself, just barely.
It's a good attempt, but right now...
That is the Ora Elektro thing that they like to see. Just once you get something, just roll with it as much as you can. Ooh, that's not the way. Everybody always takes.
Oh, he just walks in, finds 2 frags onto the combo. Ora Elektro has like no hold on the lobby anymore. Izuna's going down as well. Gink is capping up the point right now. Spots Callum in the little hiding spot in front of main there. And Swamp has just taken all the momentum now. Naval even getting caught in drop down trying to make a play. Ora Elektro seemingly crumbling a little bit as Jinx goes down as well. And Swamp's going to get mid for free.
Yeah, they had a good push into second and just made it work greatly. And then they just wanted too much too quickly and nobody had eyes. Offred was coming in completely crushing them there. And now we have Nevo sniping. Where is he positioned? Never mind. There he is.
But Ora Elektro trying to contest second a bit. They find a sticky trap frag onto Pred, but Naval gets caught in trash. No force onto Daegu. We do have Fia from high ground trying to spam pipes onto Daegu, but doesn't really hit them. He's forced to back off. Smera finds just randomly catches Fia in bottom right.
And that is such a huge opening. But there's still Azun is blocking the point. That is such a big play. They really needed it. Otherwise, Swamp could just go into last. There comes the jump in onto Daegu. Well, doesn't hit the damage he wants to. Everybody just blocks the damage. And Daegu stays safe for now. But he bought so much time with that. They don't have time to do something here. And their idea is go a little bit aggressive. But they don't want to commit to that. They stay on last rather. They have Uber, so it's not the biggest loss in the world that they didn't set the defense up properly yet. Because they do have that to defend with Neville.
Oh, yeah, what is
I didn't even realize.
He's just been on mid for so long. He's just going behind, but the push is coming in for the Swamp. There's a bit of a hole in the Ora Elektro hold, and they get punished for it. Swamp just stands on the point, completely eliminating everyone from Ora Elektro. Crayon badmouth Nevo there, telling him to stick to pugs. Yikes! It's 2-1 for the Swamp.
Yam coming out already, so Swamp is feeling confident in that, and Ora Elektro just... These small openings just get converted on so well by Swamp so far.
Swamp right now sends a soldier aggressively into the house of Ora Elektro and just finds a free demo frag. And actually, Gink finds Kelvin as well. Ora Elektro not really having too much fun in this mid. They're getting chased down through choke here by the rest of Swamp here. It's just jinxed. There's so many weak Swamp players that Jinx could potentially clean up, but he finds none of them. He goes down on mid.
Well, you thought they're getting chased down, but really what they did was really late soldier aggression coming out and just barely clutching out kill on Crayon in Swamp's choke for that matter. So there was no really getting out of that one, but they did get what they wanted in the end at the cost of pretty much the entirety of the rest of the team and mid and second, so it's a small saving grace, but it is one nonetheless for them.
It was perhaps a bit of a disorientating mid, but right now Swamp is taking Spy here pretty much for free. Ora Elektro seems to be content just sitting on last, putting their sniper Nevo, and they're getting their Zunis Pyro. It did do the old spy check in spawn, so they are
he's
aware.
On the flock, I think. That is.
Ooh, I like it. I like
interesting
it.
Choice.
It's a good strat. It's a stalemate, you see. So you just shoot
Swamp
detonator
is
shots.
Used to it. They've done it against 7 in their official, so they should be aware of how it works. Question is, can they play around it? And so far, Crayon just walks into it, gives it free damage for its charge. So at least now they're aware of it.
Jinx is just behind. He is in drop down right now. He's gonna be walking out to Daegu right now. One big body check, finds the meat shot, forces the Uber. Daegu doesn't even attempt to get into last. He just walks out. The Uber is gone for the swamp. Ora Elektro now is going to be slowly moving through. I want to see if Azunis stays on Pyro. He's on last. He's holding last as well.
He worked so hard for the launch, so it would be a waste.
Oh, but he's walking into spawn. Ooh, well, he's waiting on his team to actually get onto second. They're taking so long here. They're very patient. They Uber eventually, but this Uber is very bad. Kelvin popping all the way. It's from lobby. All the way have to go with the choke. Soldiers.
Smera goes down immediately. Yilin also super weak. They wanted the pick on the point and didn't go for the picks that were addressed right in front of them, and both of them die. It was such a good opening, but they just picked the wrong targets and it backfires completely now. Pred behind in all of this.
Probably a bit more patient there to have the advantage. No reason to just desperately block second. Pred is on that back cab. He gets hit by the detonator shot from Azunis right now. Azunis actually has the flog charged up. Pred is going to be calling that to his teammates, but Azunis has the crits up. Pred in a 1v1 with a scout in lobby, or in the house rather, goes down. Swamp now busting through choke. Through mid, trying to get onto Kelvin. Doesn't find that frag.
Kelvin goes down eventually.
Oh, they'd go down. That's going to be no med. Azunis, though, is on Haunter. He's going to pop his crits off, but
he's just
Swamp
waiting.
isn't close. They're not close enough. He's walking in.
It.
He gets the demo. Oh, that's the only frag he can get, but Smira just getting a little bit of a jump scare there. He crits Pyro in, demo down.
Jinx from behind, and then immediately falls.
Oh, this Uber is so not good. But Ora Elektro's committed so many players here. Both scouts are under mid here. This is a bit awkward for Ora Elektro. Jinx gets caught trying to leave lobby. Navo is just unspotted, gets stuck by Hoodoo, and gets directed by Pred, loses life. But there is the force for Ora Elektro. That's a good, I guess a good thing,
I don't know why they
but
sent 3 people in for that though. They got it immediately anyway with the scout, and then still so many more people die, or at least one more died, for pretty much nothing, and it just free positioning to the swamp right now. And you could see on mid that they were scared of the flog. They knew about it. They were well aware, and they just sit there, wait for it to happen and come their way. Or to have the Pyro make the wrong move so they can get the crits out of the picture. Because if you're just close to that, your life is pretty much over, and Smera was the one to feel that. But only Smera, and that's the important part. Everybody else played it incredibly safe there, and I very much like that.
Well, it's about, we are now at the halfway point of the map. 15 minutes left. Swamp is in the lead with 1 round, 2-1. So right now Swamp is just playing with their round advantage. Crayon is in lobby and wants to go for a headshot, but gets chased down by the American scout Jinx. Neva will get traded out by Pred, but then loses his life, so it's going to be 2 picks for Ora Elektro. The flank completely open for the Swamp here. Ora Elektro just sends a soldier and a scout straight in. They're not looking at this at all. Dagu's just on Spire. Azu's going to be jumping in. Jinx is in. Dagu even drops his Uber. Everyone from Swamp is just getting eviscerated here by Spire. Yilin's the last player alive here. He's going to get taken out as well. It's only spawners left for the Swamp. Ora Elektro is going to be capping up Spire and going into mid.
Yeah, I don't know how they messed up the forward hotel on lobby so much. They played around the sniper so well on process, and it just went so bad this time around. And then everything went just worse with the drop as well. And people were out of position for that anyway. They would have gotten probably Swimmer and Soldier forward as well. But the drop just made it even easier. Crayon on Pyro now.
Yep, and he's fighting a soldier right now, Azunis, but Azunis finds the rocket, does not die from the afterburn. Swamp loses Crayon and Dago in second as well. Pred trying to walk out of its spawn, in forward spawn, goes down as well. Just Yilin and Smira in a spawning Yak Gink to hold this last point. His scouts already on the point. Yak Gink and Smira are in spawn. It's going to be 2-2 all time.
Yeah, like I said, the moment they have the momentum going for them, they are able to keep it going all the way until last. And here they showed again with the quick push from, I think it was the flank side. I didn't see it completely because I was too busy looking at the Crayon Pyro on second. But I'm pretty sure they came from Valley and just surprised them completely.
Well, it's the 5th mid right now. It's tied up. Let's see what happens on this mid. Soldiers jumping over the bridge for Ora Elektro. Azunis and Callum both in. Azunis is the one to find a frag. Callum is the one to go down. Kelvin go down to Smear. Yilla with a big bomb onto Jimbot as well. It's 3v3 right now, and Ora Elektro with a coordinated aggression onto the point here. Find Yillen after he finds the fragment to Nevo. Pred's caught in-house. It's just Gink against 2. Gink isolates Azunis but can't find the cleanup frag. Gink a 1 HP finds Azunis. Jinx now comes into house, kills him. It's going to be the mid to Ora Elektro.
These bits from Elektro are interesting. They really remind me of some old school stuff. They just go all in aggressive soldier bombs and everybody in just follows up after pretty quickly over the point. And it usually goes at the cost of Kelvin's life, but I do think most of the time it does end up getting Daegu killed as well. So at least they make sure of that. So if they work on that in the future at some point, to be able to not get Kelvin killed every time, then this could go long ways. As it stands, Swamp makes sure that the aggressive position on the Kelvin gets punished every time though, which is really important. Because getting Daegu is one of the main goals in every bit. And on the second as well.
So weak. It's like 30 HP, but survives. The Uber's now up for Ora Elektro. Ora Elektro actually has advantage.
Yeah, why would you send the soldier on? And that level goes down as well. They just lose numbers, and any push they would go for is really bad now, and it just allows Swamp to make plays happen.
The soldiers are just on balcony. They're just spamming. They're not even really getting pressure at all.
Yeah, they don't have 100 damage to the Kelvin, so that is easy opening being made if they want to convert of it. They just wait, however, for their own Uber. And Yillet is the one to overextend. He drops down out of the window. Doesn't matter. Crayon finds the pick from behind onto Kelvin.
Ora Elektro's just giving up all the space on mid. Everyone can just get spammed so freely. And then Kelvin just gets caught by a flanking scout, goes down.
There's never wanting the same, gets the force again. It's like the third force he gets just from getting
back cap from behind. Jinx though. 2 players from the swamp have to go back for this. Jinx and tries to find some 1v1s here, trying to fight Gink, trying to fight that soldier as well. He's just distracting at this point. He eventually dies, but he's bought a lot of time for his team, but his team has gone down. Everyone's getting wiped, and Swamp caps mid and is on their way to just going into second with Uberad.
Yeah, maybe Ora Elektro is just a team of complete extremes. When stuff goes well, it just goes extremely well. And when stuff goes chaotic, they just lose complete control of the game. And it just got even worse than it already was to begin with. Kelvin died again. Would have otherwise had much more Uber on his hands. I don't know if it would have been equal, but certainly enough to still have an Uber for last if you just kite the initial push. And now Swamp has just prime opportunity to push in early.
The question is where will they go? They have 80%. They're actually building embattlements here. Seems like there's a gun, there's a pyro, a sniper as well. Most of that is top left, except for Nave, who's holding top right on his own. Gink and the demo Smear are going to be going through top left. They find Azunis. They're going to try and get onto Callum in bottom left. Gink gets dropped down very low and eventually loses his life to a pipe from Jimbot. And this push not looking too great. Yillen on the point gets taken out by the sticky trap from Jimbot, and that's going to be a failed push. Smear and Daegu desperately trying to get out. Jimbot trying to go on the chase, but it seems like the Swamp players are at least going to be able to escape second.
Yeah, now we have the classic situation where you have a good opportunity, but it's still bad at second. So anything that could go bad can go bad really quickly if you just don't watch out for it. But it looks like Ora Elektro does get it for free. Nobody on Swamp making 2 big plays, except Crayon behind, straight onto Azunis. But it's such a small area that it's actually one of those situations where Soldier actually has a good opportunity to win the Scout against the Scout. As the push comes into mid, Jimbot goes deep, but can't get saved. He gets taken down by Gink. Crayon eventually cleaned up behind lines, and 1 down each, but Swamp kites that well enough that they're able to push back in now.
Swamp wants to go in. They want to get that next round. They want to avoid being put into a golden cap here. They're going to try and take mid. Callum jumps in, forces Daegu, and yeah, a back cap from Ora Elektro to a Soldier and a Scout. Soldier actually on the painter to get the cap as well. They juked enough to actually kill everybody on Spire. Nevo is just going to last. He's going to be forced to face a 100 HP Yillen here. Yillen shoots a prediction rocket, but Nevo is on the high ground now. Yillen is completely caught. He gets an arrow from Daegu and stays alive. Nevo does not win that. Ora Elektro is going to be sitting on Spire.
I'm so confused how Dagu got there because I just was watching the fight the entire time. But it just completely saved it. And I'm surprised nobody was able to catch off Dagu there because that would have been such a good pick for them now. They're still stuck on last. And more importantly, Ora Elektro has this huge advantage now. Crayon desperately tries to build a sentry as quickly as he can. It might actually reach level 3, so never mind. A Pyro up on the defense as well. The Uber comes in now.
Man, it's top left here. They try to get their scout in. They spam down the sentry. They stick up the spawn door on the left side here. Scout plays the point, gets about half capped. Callum jumping in top right, finds a demo frag. Gets pred as well. But now the Ora Elektro players aren't really in the idea. Azul is on the point with the pain train. He finds a frag off the Crayon as well. And that's going to be the round for Ora Elektro. Ora Elektro is back in the lead 3-2.
I don't care what anybody else says after the game, but I want to believe that was solely due to the backup, and otherwise they could have reacted. And that was, like, you just need to be able to see these openings for stupid jumps like this that people just don't expect, because, like I said, they seem stupid, but you just, if you know it, then it will just work.
I'm loving these pain train plays from Ora Elektro right now. They're just like with the backup, just catching everybody off guard, but they're not catching anybody off guard in this mid. Kelvin, Nevo, Azunas, Callum, everybody just goes down within the first 5 seconds of the mid. The rest of the players are trying to get onto Daegu. They do find that frag, but that was an extremely fast mid.
Yeah, it looks like slowly but surely Swamp is figuring out what Ora Elektro is doing here with their aggressive mids, and for the most part they're able to protect themselves from it now, except the fact that Callum still is able to get as much done with his jump as he used to the entire time. And both medics again died on this mid fight, as we're used to seeing it from back in 2012. And Swamp wins it overall, so they're already set up on second, probably getting into lobby anytime soon. Ora Elektro now in the lead with just 5 minutes left, and it's Badlands last. It's tempting to just say stay on last for the next 5 minutes and let the Swamp do the plays. So it certainly is up to the Swamp to make something big happen here.
Well, it's not exactly ideal. It's like 5 minutes left. They are the ones to make the play. There's a gun up already as well. It's in top right. They're spamming it down. Nobody really protecting it, so I guess that's decent. But
well, you still need to be fast to act on it, because otherwise
the gun is
already doing it. He's building just another one. So how
Dylan's
much
gonna
does that
try
mean?
again. He's gonna peek top right, try to get that gun down again. Nevo's actually just gonna rotate it to the other side.
The spam is so good. 4 HP, the Zeus just barely survives there. Doesn't actually use the respawn bind.
Well, heavy Jinx is also denying people from walking into top left. I'm trying to remember what Swamp did before to break this hold.
Well, they did some kooky stuff on the left side, but what I like from them compared to Ora Elektro is contesting the right side much more. No push on last, I think, have they done much on the right side so far, and we see Swamp just aggressing over the right side, and what is that? A quick thing on Kelvin, and everybody's just in immediately.
It's not looking too great. The banner being popped off. Players from Ora Elektro just on the low ground now. Callum, Jinx, Nevo are the last 2 or 3 players left, and now it's just Jinx and Spawn. I was trying to remember what did Swamp do before to get into Ora Elektro's last. I remember it was a roller that killed Kelvin. He dropped his Uber, and this time it's Crayon that drops Kelvin's Uber. So
and in general, they just like throw stuff in optimistically and see what sticks. And we had like so much aggression coming out on the Swamp's part there, and eventually it just worked. It just took a while.
Yeah, well, it's 3.5 minutes left. It's all tied up once again. Let's see what's happening. Callum jumps in really aggressively into the house of the Swamp. Bit unspotted as he just gets onto Smear for free, but Kelvin and Jimbot goes down to the double soldier aggression from the Swamp. But as soon as gets onto Daegu, the 2 soldiers from Ora Elektro just completely behind. They find Gink as well. Crayon on the low ground, under and 6 HP. Smear in the choke of Ora Elektro on 40 HP. Both these players not really able to contest with Crayon. He gets onto Callum. He's trying to get onto a second scout as well onto Jakes, but goes down eventually. Smear gets cut off as well. This is going to be a mid to Ora Elektro to even find the last 2 frags. So that's like technically a wipe, I guess. And well, I think Ora Elektro is going to be moving into Spire right now.
Well, they want to, but Swarm has people spawn time to do something, but maybe not too much, as people died pretty late as well. And Jimbo overextends, gets jumped immediately, that's no devil, so they need something quickly here on Ora Elektro. Oh, and they have to keep jumping as soon as he immediately gets Deku, but they lose 3 people forward. Can they stand here?
The soldier behind Brad is there! Oh, but he gets taken
Kelvin
out.
is so weak.
Oh, but
That's so dangerous. Crayon wants it.
Yeah, but nobody's really in position to really get close to him. Neither Scouts or Demo can get in. So the Ora Elektro, with their advantage, are going to be on mid. And, well, I mean, if I was Ora Elektro, I'd be pretty content just sitting on second with these 2 minutes left. But
ooh, that's
they have the ad. They want to win this
scary.
game. Yes, but Ora Elektro trying to contest Spire, but they are... Oh, it's Crayon. He's right there. This is where the respect comes in. Let's see if they're going to do it. Ora Elektro is trying to cap up Spire. They're just looking Crayon dead in the face. Azunis loses his life for it. Gink goes down to Jinx, though, on Spire, or on the flank, rather. And Ora Elektro actually successfully caps second. And the Uber is not even close to being up for the swamp. So Ora Elektro still in position to potentially roll this.
Yeah, getting this round just will end the game, period. There's no way around it with this little time. And he comes to push.
Yep, to Jimbot and to Jinx. They need to get this gun down quickly. That's what they do. Jinx plays the point. Sticky's on the point. Both Scots are on the point. Nobody from Swamp is even contesting it. It's going to be 4-3 for Ora Elektro. It's about 1 minute and 20 seconds left. So Swamp could tie this up, but it's this mid. It's now or never. It would need to
be a speed run if they want to get this round.
Never, yes. Well, we'll see. Ora Elektro just needs to keep it together for this mid, but Swamp needs to win this and immediately roll this. Let's see what happens. Minute left for the Swamp going into this mid. Ora Elektro just coming from Valley right now onto slope. Soldiers very aggressively onto the side of Ora Elektro. Navo going down, but Gillen going down. Well, Daegu, Azunis and Count is very aggressively finding all these frags. It's Smira, Pred, Crayon. Pred is on to Jinxed here. Kelvin has actually just completely abandoned this mid. He's walking out. He just wants to keep his Uber up. As it's Smira and Crayon to cap up mid. Jimbot, Kelvin, yeah, they're in lobby. They might even be walking into last. It's 30 seconds left. So if they just pop their Uber onto last, they can do the thing Swamp did on the last map. Just pop onto the point and then basically end the game. The spawners from Swamp coming. It's about 20 seconds left. It's not looking too hot. They're going to go as fast as they can.
Also, a quick reminder that Uber last 8 seconds unflashed, so a heavy flash on a point right about now will basically end the game, assuming he can't get juggled off. And people try to get there. They don't actually have anything on the point. They pop the Uber now, however, and just block off the exit. Or do they try to sneak in from behind, but it's too late. And this round surely won't be accepted by AGTQ.
Definitely will not be rejected, or it will definitely be rejected. I mean, it's a failed run. I mean, I don't really know how you can accept a run that didn't even finish. That, I mean, unless capping second speed run, but that obviously doesn't really. That also a really good end goal.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but was that the only mid that Kelvin survived on this map? The one he needed to survive as well.
I mean, could
be. At this point, I'm convinced that Kelvin dying is part of their strategy. Like every time he dies, and then they go for a play, and somehow he ends up with a little bit of advantage after every mid, because they get him killed, and then afterwards they just kill Jagu immediately.
Well, perhaps, but let's see. Let's just quickly look at these logs. These
one thing, because it just happened when they were walking into second on Ora Elektro before they got that final round with Crayon sniping. They just all looked him dead in the eyes, all but one being Kelvin. Speaking of Kelvin dying all the time, he did not peek that sideline whatsoever. And everybody just abused the fact that Crayon wants the medic pick in that situation, which you can't blame him for. But he also didn't really shoot anyone else because he just waited for Kelvin to come around the corner. And everybody was just able to get in relatively uncontested in that situation. And I really like that they just abused this little opening.
Well, look at the numbers. Since this is, this is what you look at, right? This is where we can be all cool.
I like numbers.
Look at who is to blame for Swamp
well, maybe not that, but like who did a lot of work.
Well, I'm trying
we missed it in the game, and
I'm trying to make it dramatic. I need to be dramatic. Come on, help me out here a little bit. But regardless, so I mean, it looks like a relatively even game. I mean, I see Navo and Jinx showing up really well as opposed to the mostly even scoring scouts on the side of Swamp, which is pretty decent. Smear not dying as much as he did last map.
Yeah, I
was pretty good.
do want to say it had to do with the whole sniper thing, because it worked for everybody else except for Smear, who is a really talented demo man, as I mentioned, but I don't think he was completely happy with the playstyle himself, how that worked out for him. So I do think he needed to adjust to that on process the entire time, whereas here they played more vanilla most of the time.
You know, this is the final log for both of these teams for the season, and it has to be pretty depressing when you're the med and your final log shows you dropping 3 out of the 10 charges you had, or 3 out of 7? No, 10. Yeah, 10, right? Because 7, the charges on the logs is popped, I think. Yes. Yes. So yeah, he's dropped 3 out of his 10 Ubers of the last map that he won in his final official of this season in Prem. It's pretty rough. It's a 30% drop rate. I don't know if that's what you're looking for in a Prem medic. If you are, then please contact me for your Prem team. I will willingly drop Ubers for you. But I mean, he won the game, you know. And it seemed that it seemed like half of the only reason that Swamp really got some of those pushes was that he dropped. So like, I don't know. I guess it wasn't that.
I think what was like more important than the drops in this game were the forces, which just came out of nowhere by scouts behind people every time, on both sides for that matter. I don't know how they did it all the time. Crayon and Nevo, I think, were majoritively the sneaky players in that regard, and they just did it so much this entire game.
Some questionable flag holding was definitely going on in some of those maps. I definitely do agree on that one. But any other? I guess we can just quickly cycle through the rest of the stats here. None of this.
Well,
is really
I have to leave the advanced logs to you because while my game/connection died a bit earlier, I couldn't leave my browser open, so I have to leave those up to you.
We just have some.
Oh, actually, no, I think I have them up. Never mind, it works. Just sometimes doesn't load when I start them late. But there you go. I see the player against player logs, if that's what should be up at least.
Yes, it is.
Well, we see scouts shutting down Aroma, which isn't really much to say about that, to be honest. A little bit more interesting is Nevo beating Crayon. And we saw both of them being the sneaky guys, so I would assume both of them playing the heavy flank style and just having to meet up against each other quite a bit. So consistently winning that is probably a more interesting stat to consider than a scout shutting down Aroma.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just a bit. These aren't the most spectacular matchup stats. Ooh, I like this really. Look at this really even stat in the middle here. I actually haven't seen this before.
If you, I don't think we had them on before the like mid comparison, like mid win stat, but that was like 50-50 who won mid, like every other time the other team won, basically. So yeah, the mid fights were just a matter of who could get the picks faster.
I'm just trying to quickly look at this point. I'm trying to parse this stat here, and my brain isn't really doing a good job of it.
Well, I mean, if I get this correctly,
never mind. You go ahead. I've analyzed how this works. So look at that conversion rate. That 80% conversion rate, and this isn't because this is this is Ora Elektro's conversion rate here, right? Yes. And that was the team that had not their med dropping 3 times, or the enemy team's med dropping 3 times, and they still convert 80%.
Well, it depends on where you drop. If you drop in a mid hole, then I mean,
well, yeah, but Kelvin's drops were definitely like on last, like, and Swamp's conversion rate was 43%. So like, I have to say, 80% conversion rate is pretty impressive when when you are like most of the time either rolling with Uber ad, or you are like in a kind of forced weird trade situation.
What's worth mentioning here, I said before that like most mids, if not all of them except the last one, Kelvin died on the mids because they just played super aggressively the entire time on mid fights. So none of these advantages or most of them at least, don't come from mid-wins with Kelvin staying alive. They just came from other situations. And that's something I mentioned before, like, so much that when they have momentum, they rolled with it the entire time.
Alright, well, I think that's all the stats we got. At least my page is blank, so I'm presuming that's all the stats. So we're going to be going into the interview. I don't know why I said it like that. We have the winning, or well, not winning actually, but the med of the
One
team
of the
that
winning teams.
that won the last map here. We got Kelvin here. How are you doing?
What's up? I don't know. Just confused, to be honest. Confused emotions.
Well,
What are you confused about? What are you confused about?
About this whole season. We had literally so much potential for this fucking season, but we just came too short, I guess.
well, it was first season in Prem for everybody, but Jimbo, I want to say, if that's right.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx has played
I
in
guess, yes. So, like 1.5, basically, if you count for lag.
Yeah.
Like this.
Oh,
is
that's still decent.
It's a bit of a theme this season with teams being a bit like feeling like they had a lot of potential. Like I've heard a lot from from some of the other teams that they like expected better from this season, but I mean when like the lower ranks like basically anything under top 2 seeds is like I don't know. Like I know that like predictions were really wild at the start of this season with people thinking like, "Oh, Busku can get 4th," or we can see like I don't know, what was it? Like Swamp get 3rd place this season. Like it's been quite an interesting journey, but I mean, I guess it's unfortunate, to not make it through, but I mean, you still did a decent job, I'd say. Like you still managed to at least get maps off of most of the teams that aren't called 7 or Ascent. So
Honestly, I think we could have won against every team except for 7 and Ascent if we didn't choke them. Like
Well, that's high standards coming into next season, then I guess.
I don't know.
If you make it.
We had good gameplay, but we just kept choking at like important times.
all right, well,
Without fanboying too much, I would agree that your team definitely had a lot of potential. I mean, just looking at your game history, we saw the 4-2 win against the Germans in week 2. So there was like a lot of potential early on, and it's just about consistency, really.
Yeah.
That comes over time, basically. So definitely keep going. You got maybe 7th this season, so you do have to go through the preseason qualifier for next season, but with that confidence, that should be easy going then, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And worth mentioning that most of your squad, at least, will have some LAN experience under the belt by that time.
Yeah.
are you excited for the LAN? The Dan LAN, as people call it?
I mean, I'm not going, but I'm
Oh,
excited
right.
to
My
see
bad.
my team
My
play.
bad. My bad. Apologies on that one. Why are you dodging? Tell me.
I just don't have the money, honestly.
Shaking my head. I don't have money and I still go.
That doesn't sound like a good financial decision.
Luckily,
actually.
a bus is pretty cheap, and like I just sleep on the floor on the event, and then that's that's it.
I mean, I don't think you're literally sleeping on the
Well,
floor.
I mean, yeah, but still, like it's not the best living situation. Let's put it this way.
All right. Well,
For like 3 days.
yeah, well, so you're saying that like your team kind of choked. Like, I mean, you
Yeah.
won Pro Lands, but like what then in what, like, can you be a bit more specific, like in maybe process, like what exactly happened that caused you to lose that map?
One point was like not being aware of sniper sidelines, which is like also my fault. Like I kept getting fucking killed by, who was it, Crayon, who like peak choke once or something and just hit me. So
Don't worry, dude. I miss every single one of them on stream. It's fine. Nobody saw anything.
alright, good.
Okay. That
Yeah,
is
but-
something.
We just got shot down by their sniper, who we didn't contest too much. That's a huge issue. And then we we kept dying before pushes when we tried to go for last or something, and yeah, those are the biggest mistakes we did.
Okay, looking in the future, you mentioned you have said that your team has a lot of potential, so you'd probably want to keep going with the team in some form of another, seeing as your team has, let me check, 3 seasons under its belt already. So I would assume the way you put it that the team probably will try get into Prem next season again. Is there any it's a far bit away, but any predictions for the roster? Who will stay? Somebody who already said he can't play next season or something like that?
Jinx is definitely gonna leave, because he doesn't want to be a locked up kid in his room playing games at midday anymore. So yeah, we might look forward to get Hempus back as main scout.
Rudy name giver.
Yeah.
Finally, all Norwegian back on the team, sponsored in quotation marks by a Norwegian electronics store.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We just have to see who can play because it's so far away still. So, not sure about Fear and Callum. They might have work or something. And Azunis and Nevo, we'll see after the Danlan what they do. So, yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to whatever comes together for the future because, like you said, there's a lot of potential that still can be improved on.
Yeah.
All right, well, do you have any other questions to ask our lovely guest, or is this where we start wrapping it up?
Well, predictions for Danlan, seeing as you're certainly biased.
That is for our interviewee.
Oh,
Mr. Kelvin.
I don't know. I haven't looked who's going, but I'm gonna cheer my Ora Elektro boys.
So your team's going to win?
Maybe. Depends on
come on
if
now.
they can win against Ascent. If they go, I don't know. But
well, a central Ada, as they're called for the land.
Enough.
Also, I guess the post on TV will come out soon enough. I do actually have seen that it's been working on. But for the people that don't know, the Ora Elektro roster for next upcoming Danlan will be Eames, Nevo, Eskimo, Azunis, Scruff, and Raptor. So more like Omni Electro more than anything. But Eskimo has a pass with this roster. I think Eames too, but I'm not too sure actually.
Yeah, Eames played a lot before the season with us. He was going to be the main, but then he ditched us. So yeah.
Shaking my head. To play in Div 2. Legend. Well, hey, now he gets to play with 7 seeds. So, I guess that's a plus, perhaps?
Maybe.
So yeah, Omni Electro certainly a team that will look to get as far up as they can get for Danlan. And with that, I am a lot of questions.
Yeah? Alright, well, I guess that's it then. So you won. So we could end it off with the old tradition of shout-outs. Kelvin, do you have any shout-outs to give?
Shout out to Juno, shout out to Hempus, shout out to Pandemic, shout out to God Mode, shout out to my team, thanks for the season, and shout out to you guys for actually casting every single official we had.
No problem, no problem.
So yeah.
Alright, Dumb. Do you have any shoutouts?
Shoutouts to everybody who uploads the demos quickly to ETF2L so I can watch them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Is that it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Alright, well, then, and Peter can't give shoutouts, but shouts to Peter for doing production. Shouts to Dumb for casting with me. Shoutouts to Kelvin for being a nice little interviewee. Shout out to the teams for giving us some good games to watch. Check out teamfortress.tv. Follow the Twitch channel you're currently watching to watch games. Follow Team Fortress TV on Twitter to see all the casts, the articles that are written. Check out
Fantasy TF2. We are certainly not paid by Beta to say this.
Yeah, check out fantasytf2.com so you can see me win fantasy this season. Hello, I am currently in the lead by 200 points, so yes, I will win. That is a call. I hope that in a month, when this season ends and this VOD is on YouTube, I won't look like an idiot. But
oh yeah, I'm on your roster, right?
Yeah. You've been on my roster for like the last 3
I'm
weeks.
sure the free drops will do well on that.
Well, hey, he gave me some good points. I mean, the drops didn't do a good job, but I mean, I have Smira who helped. He played really bad on the first map, and Kelvin did well on the first map, and then Smira did well on the second map, and then Kelvin did bad on the second map. So like it evened out. But anyway, don't forget, we mentioned it before, but Copenhagen Games, it is the 28th to the 31st of March. It's in Copenhagen. It's a TF2 LAN. It's gonna have Sixes and Highlander. It's not gonna be casted on this channel. It's gonna be casted on Essentials TF. For the Sixes tournament, and Critscast for the Highlander tournament. But yeah, that's in Denmark. It's going to be cool. It's on the Easter weekend. You know, it's going to be grand old time. Some Prem teams are going to that. I think that's about it. I hope you enjoyed this cast. This has been Team Fortress TV, and we're signing off.